Hello my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, my name is Stef and I'm the Psychic Soul Alignment Coach. What that means is that I work with spiritual people and spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to do very deep levels of healing work, also known as inner work, shadow work, inner child healing, to peel back layers of limiting beliefs, traumas, insecurities, and fears that they may have that are impacting their ability to be more of who they truly are on a spiritual level in life. Now, as my clients achieve greater soul alignment, greater higher self alignment, they're then able to have an easier time with life and be more fulfilled and enjoy life more and create abundance and success in all areas of life more successfully and more gracefully. So here on my YouTube channel, I generally do videos on the topics of manifestation, mindset, healing, spiritual entrepreneurship, spirituality, spiritual activism. I bring forward energy readings sometimes and channeled messages and sometimes share my own thoughts or experiences. So if these are things that interest you and you enjoy today's video, then I definitely suggest that you hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification button and change your settings to all so that you're always notified of when I upload a video and you never miss out, because I don't have a specific upload schedule that I stick to. I just show up as I feel called to, as I feel inspired to, as I have the energy to sometimes. So that's that, okay? Now, today is April 24th, 2021, and it is, I think, like 8:20 p.m. or so, or 8:30 p.m., and it's really late, and I'm currently being blinded by my ring light right now. I'm trying really hard not to get too distracted by it. I normally film during the day when I don't need this ring light, because it is tough filming at night because of all this light being in your face, but we're just going to make the most of it right now. And I was hoping to film or record a video earlier today, but I just wasn't able to get around to it. So I figured, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But I just got done, conversing with a few friends and felt so inspired to come on here and talk about the importance of not spiritually bypassing and being more of a spiritual activist and taking action on certain things that are happening in the world. And I really wanted to talk about this topic, right? But earlier today when I spoke to my guides asked me to tune into my heart space and listen to what my soul really wanted to say and what it wanted to speak to today. So as I did that before I got on this video, just to make sure that this was what I was talking about today, because I was feeling really, excited and motivated to speak on this topic at last, I heard my soul, my heart say to me, talk about unconditional love. And then I was like, what? Are you sure? And I just kept hearing like unconditional love, unconditional love. So I was like, oh, this was not the plan, universe. And of course, because I want to do my thing and do things my way, I was like, okay, well, if you want me to talk about unconditional love, you better prove it to me. So I'm going to get my Oracle deck out. I'm going to shuffle these cards and, a card better pop out talking about unconditional love. So I know that this is the topic for today. And lo and behold, that's what happened. I was shuffling my cards. 3 cards came out, and I want to share this with you because let me tell you, okay, if you ever become my friend, I am that annoying person that I will give you all the backstory, all the details to like why I'm talking about a certain situation. I have to paint the picture for you to know what's up. Like, this is just me. So we're going to take a few minutes to like get to the whole point of this video, and I appreciate you hanging out with me and being patient and listening to my whole backstory, because this is important to me. This is who I am. You can always go to the settings option here on YouTube, change the settings to increase the speed of this video, because sometimes I'm a bit of a rambler, but that's like literally what I was created to do in life, is like to talk a lot. So anyway, so I pulled these cards, right? 3 cards came out. This one came out, and this one says, you already know the answer you seek. And I was like, dang it, universe, telling me to basically trust myself and what I heard. And then the next card that I noticed was this one. And this one says, your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So I was like, oh, Lord, the message could not be any more clear and direct. Like, Stephanie, you have to talk about unconditional love. And then this card came out, Bridge, Inner Strength. And this card is all about like moving forward with things that are important to you and just a bunch of things. And this card was actually related to the message that they gave me earlier today. That's for me to know. But I was like, okay, I get it, universe. Like, you want me to talk about unconditional love. You want me to trust in that. But I still want to know, I still want to see unconditional love somewhere in these messages. So I decided to like open the booklet and look up like the meaning of the card in the booklet just to see if there was some kind of mention of unconditional love there. And lo and behold, this card. This card was talking about all about like Sanat Kumara and how he's like a leader of unconditional love or something like that. And I was like, dang it. Okay, universe. I got to talk about unconditional love today. So that is what we're discussing today, and not my whole idea on spiritual activism and taking action. So I have no idea what I'm going to say because this wasn't planned, but we're just going to trust in divine guidance and truth and see whatever messages come through me today to help support you and, whoever else watches this video. So thank you for listening to my backstory. I had to let you know basically the whole reason for this video. And I'm trusting that it's in everyone's highest good that I speak on this topic today. And this was like totally 1000% validated by the universe, apparently, through these cards, so that I and you know that this is not a coincidence. And if you're watching this, it's definitely not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe God knows what God is doing. The universe source knows what it's doing. And we're guided to certain things at certain times. And it's for a reason, So my intention today with this video is to share messages that are truly for the highest good of everyone individually, myself, the collective, and that you get what you need from this video today, and that it truly does support you in some kind of way, and leave whatever I say that doesn't resonate or speak with you or speak to you at this time, because I'm just here to share my truth and what I feel Spirit is asking me to share with others. And maybe some of that will resonate with you, and if so, go with that, and whatever doesn't, just leave behind. And maybe that will be something that resonates with you at a later time or never at all, okay? So, the topic of unconditional love. By the way, okay, I do want to discuss my other video that I just said on spiritual activism and taking action, but maybe that will happen tomorrow. I don't know. It'll happen when I'm supposed to talk about it, okay? But keep that in mind, okay? I will discuss this video because it is very important to me. So anyway, unconditional love. A few weeks ago on Instagram, I came across a post, and this post was like a whole little caption thing, little graphics that have like the one paragraph on them. And it said something along the lines of like, oh honey, you're not here to learn unconditional love. You're here to learn messy love and passionate love and chaotic love and broken love and all kinds of different types of love. And then it said something like, you're not here to remember unconditional love because you are unconditional love. And that was like the whole point of that post, was telling you like you don't need to remember unconditional love because that's what you are. You're here to learn other types of love. I will link that post in the comments of this video because I'm pretty sure I saved it, because when I saw that, I was like, I got to marinate with this, like on this for a minute, and really like let this sink in and contemplate it, reflect on it, do some introspection, like all these different things, because that's the kind of person I am, especially as a spiritual teacher and just being naturally like deep. I'm like, hold on a second, let me sit with this for a little bit. So I believe I saved it, and I will put the link to that post so you can actually read it all completely for yourself, and also drop my social media things as well, so you can follow me on social media if it speaks to you. But when I read that initially, like I saw the truth in it, but at the same time, it didn't fully resonate, because I could still feel, for me at least, and this is my truth, could still feel that these words were said not from the highest expression of this person. It still was very like ego-based or mind-based to me, how I interpreted it. Because in my experience, I feel like, yes, we are here to learn all these many different types of love. And yes, we are unconditional love. But at the same time, we are here to remember that we are unconditional love. And we are here to learn how to do that, because we don't remember it. So we have to like relearn what we already know. And what's coming to my mind right now is when people have had accidents, and they've had accidents that have made it difficult for them to walk again or feed themselves again or whatever, all these things that they already knew, right, prior to their accident. But they have this accident, it completely changes their life. You can't just tell that person like, you already know how to walk, just get up. You already know how to feed yourself, just, pick up the spoon or the fork or whatever. Like, it's a process, okay? They have to go through, they have to rehabilitate themselves. They have to like keep at it until it becomes normal and natural for them again to do the things that they already knew how to do. And that same thing applies to humans. Like, yes, we are unconditional love. Like, we know this deep down in the core of our being, but we've forgotten that because of our traumas, our life experiences, our conditioning, our programming. And so we are not being that unconditional love in the world. We are not being that for ourselves to the fullest extent that we can be, and we're not being that for other people. And so we have to remember that, and we have to relearn that, what it means to be unconditional love. I'm going to write an epic Instagram post on this tomorrow. Because Spirit is talking, y'all. Spirit is talking. And so that's what I mean. That's why I could just, for me, see like, this person's not speaking the whole truth. They're speaking like their ego's truth, not the highest divine truth. Because for me, there is a difference between truth, a person's individual truth, and divine truth. But maybe that's a topic for another video. Let me know if you want to hear on that and my perspective on that. And so, and that's not to put that person down, by the way, because that person's message was powerful and on so many different levels. And I'm sure it helped so many people in so many different ways. And it definitely helped me, you know, even though it didn't fully resonate with me, but it inspired like this message right now, you know, it inspired me to try to really see like, well, is this truth, or what is the higher truth in this? And just giving myself the space to connect with what I feel is the highest truth that I can possibly understand at this time, right? Because it's important not to be, you know, spiritually egoic, if that's the word. I don't know. We got to keep our spiritual egos in check, as you may now know from the video that I did on spiritual ego. If you haven't yet seen it, I'll put it up here in the cards for you to go check that out and learn on the importance of being mindful of spiritual ego. And I could do so many videos on spiritual ego, but anyway. So that's what I wanted to share there, is that we have to remember and relearn what it means to be unconditional love. That's a process. I can't just snap my fingers and be like, you're a being of unconditional love. Like, be that for yourself right now. Be that for other people right now. Like, it's not going to happen. You have to go through a process. And the way to come back to unconditional love is we have so many different avenues we take to get there. It's a process. And that process is unique to every person, depending on what they're meant to experience in life and the decisions that they make. But ultimately, a lot of times, I think most powerful way, if we can put it into those kinds of words, because again, as humans, we're limited with our vocabulary to try to transmit certain messages. But I feel like what is most helpful and most effective at remembering that we are unconditional love and relearning what that really means is through our own personal healing. Because when we heal the things inside of us, we're then able to no longer hold that pain or that fear or that bitterness or whatever that is, and we're able to transform these low vibrational feelings to higher states, higher emotions, higher feelings, right? And we're able to get those things up to love, right? But it's a process. So this is the thing, is that I kind of discussed this a little bit in my healing workshop. I did my best to address that message the best that I could, but there are many levels to healing, okay? And if you haven't seen my healing workshop yet, I will link it up here as well in the cards. It's a 4-video workshop in which I help you to understand how to do deeper, more effective levels of healing to get you started on your path. But if I were, for example, wanting to work on my self-love as a means of reaching a deeper remembrance and state of unconditional love, I can maybe start doing things that help me create more self-love and appreciation for myself, right? And that can be something like taking a step in regards to setting better boundaries out of self-love and appreciation for myself. It can be in regards to me doing mirror work or something to promote more self-love and appreciation of myself. It can be me choosing to have a better diet or lifestyle out of self-love and appreciation for myself. And these are all like little baby steps that are part of that process of me having more of this self-love and appreciation that is leading me to more unconditional love of myself. And that's part of the journey and the process. But I can always take it to deeper and deeper levels. Okay, now all of these steps that I mentioned, they're small steps, but they're important steps. They're essential steps. And I don't want to diminish the power and the impact that these steps can have on a person's life. But a deeper layer of that is doing the healing work that that person needs to do to help them to truly heal whatever pain or trauma they experience that caused them to not love themselves to begin with. And that will help them to release that energy and to be able to truly feel on a much deeper level this love and appreciation for themselves than before. And the reason I say that is because I'm not saying that taking these small action steps can't help you to cultivate greater self-love. They do. But when you have taken things to a deeper layer, there's like an extra layer of depth there that you get, and you can really see like, oh, you know, these other steps, although they were helpful, they were still on these superficial levels, and they're still important and they're still valuable, but they were still on these superficial levels. And now taking this self-love work to a deeper level via my own personal healing really helps me see that this was more effective, that this is deeper than all those other things before, right? It's a process. And so when you really do that deeper level of healing on yourself, you will then be able to truly cultivate deeper internal peace, love, and unconditional love for you, because you will have radically shifted your consciousness and your energy and your behavior as a result of purging all the stuff inside of you, releasing that energy and those traumas inside of you that you had. Okay? This is a tricky topic. And I'm not trying to tell anyone that they're right or wrong with the way that they're doing things. Okay? I don't want you to feel bad for the way that you may have been doing things on your own path or healing yourself, because that is not my intention at all. I really want you to understand that all the small steps that you've taken and all these small things really do make such a difference. And that's what I did my best to speak to in my workshop, because it's a tricky subject, you know. I don't want to say I have all the answers or my way of doing things is the one and right way or whatever it is. But what I want to share with you as part of my unique soul's truth and wisdom in my experience these last few years is that there are deeper forms of healing. And when you heal yourself and you heal your traumas, you're truly able to cultivate a much higher level or deeper level of self-love than all these previous tools could have provided you with. Okay? These tools, such as setting boundaries, or what did I say earlier, mirror work, or changing your diet and lifestyle, you know, all of that is powerful and important and part of the process. But sometimes it's still superficial levels, because just because you do mirror work and maybe you feel a little bit better and your relationship changes with yourself a bit, doesn't truly mean that you really have cultivated a deep level of unconditional love for yourself and this deeper embodiment of it. That's not necessarily the case, okay? For some people, it might be, who knows, maybe that's their unique path. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. Or just because you set boundaries with people and you're better at that doesn't necessarily mean that you love yourself. Just because you change your diet and lifestyle doesn't mean that you necessarily like unconditionally love yourself. I see this all the time. Like, I see people who do these sorts of things, and yeah, it promotes a greater level of self-love and appreciation, acceptance for themselves, but it's not like getting to the core root of things. It's not really truly addressing on this deeply ingrained level why they feel unlovable to begin with. And so when they don't address that, it keeps them from really being this unconditional love that they really are. So they have to go through this process of healing themselves, doing this deep work that is oftentimes really uncomfortable. It is often uncomfortable to look at your pain, to look at your shadows, which is why people a lot of times would rather stay on the more superficial levels or the more band-aid type of solutions. And there's nothing wrong with that, as I said. Like, sometimes these things are important, and sometimes these things are exactly what you need no matter how advanced you are. Like, I will sometimes be asked to do these kinds of things. Like, even just a couple days ago or something, my guys are like, you need to do some mirror work. I had not done it in months. But sometimes you got to go back to the basics. And you got to do that as part of getting you back to unconditional love. So I'm not by any means dismissing any of these things, because they're so valuable. They're so important. And they're part of the process. But at the same time, in order to embody more of this unconditional love, we have to, a lot of times, get to the root of that. And we have to be willing to look at the parts of ourselves that were made to feel unlovable. And when we do that and we really heal that, then we can really embody more of that unconditional love. And all of these little baby steps that I mentioned earlier, or these like superficial steps, or more of these band-aid type of solutions. They can be band-aid solutions if you only do those. If not, they're just other supportive tools that you do. But all of these things are also part of the process of you relearning what it means to be unconditionally loving towards yourself, and what it means to have unconditional love for you. So they're part of the process of you coming back to your truth, that you are unconditional love, and relearning that. You have to put into practice these things to remember this, to be this. But when you do the deeper healing work as well, and you go within and you address those things inside of you that were made to feel unlovable, and you work through that, you process that, that's when you also relearn that you're not that story. You're not that trauma. You're not what other people made you to believe about yourself or feel about yourself or whatever. And you're able to come back to your truth more easily. And so this is, to me, the process of coming back to unconditional love for ourselves. There's many paths we can take to being unconditional love, remembering that we're unconditional love, and we can take all these little baby steps, we can take these deeper steps, but as we take these steps, no matter what they are, we're retraining ourselves, like the person who's learning how to walk again, retraining ourselves to come back to our truth. We're remembering our truth. We're retraining ourselves to live as our truth, and it's a process. And when we especially do this deeper level of healing on ourselves, especially, that is when we're able to much more easily have true unconditional love for others. Because you can set boundaries all you want, you can do all the mirror work you want, you can change your diet and lifestyle all you want, you can do all these things that you want to do out of self-love for yourself, all these practices and rituals. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that will translate into you having unconditional love for other people, especially the people who you think are wrong, who have hurt you, who are doing bad things in the world. In my experience, and from what I've witnessed in clients who have been able to do the deeper work, we're able to have unconditional love for other people when we've done really, really deep healing work on ourselves. When we've done that deeper healing work on ourselves to heal the relationship with ourselves, then we're able to have more love and compassion and empathy and understanding and appreciation for others. Because we've healed the relationship with ourselves. A lot of times, the ill feelings that we hold towards others are simply a manifestation of the disharmony in the relationship with ourselves. And so in order for us to really remember who we truly are, that we are truly at our core these unconditional loving beings, we need to relearn that. We need to go about the path of implementing practices and habits and rituals that help us to gradually build up to this. And we need to be willing to do the deeper healing work to embody more of that unconditional love for ourselves, and as a result also be able to have more unconditional love for others. And when we're able to do this for ourselves and for others, that's when we create this positive ripple effect out into the world, because we are literally vibrating and emanating this unconditional love, and we're holding that for other people in spite of who they might be or what they may have done. And we promote more of this in the world, and then the world gets to reflect this more easily. But it starts with us. It starts with us being willing to do this deeper inner work, or go on the path of cultivating greater unconditional love and doing the practices, the things, the deeper healing work if necessary, to achieve that and to be that. So that is the message that I felt like sharing today. And I really hope that this has helped you in some way. I hope I made sense, because I was just saying whatever I needed to say. And if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up, a like wherever you're watching from. Feel free to share your thoughts with me in the comments below on what you got from this video or your own unique perspective or experiences. I'm always curious to learn from other people, because like I said, I don't have the one and only truth. And I'm always open to hearing what other people have to say, to see like what resonates with me or what feels in alignment or not. And just learning, that's how we grow together, is by sharing. So that's what I wanted to speak on today. Is so many people on the planet want the world to be a better place. And especially as light workers or starseeds, or however you identify as, labels don't really mean much to me. Personally, there's nothing wrong with labels. They can be very empowering and very nice and have so many positive benefits to them, but I'm not big on labels personally. But a lot of us who want the world to become a better place, we fail to realize that for the world to become a loving, more harmonious place where there's more equality and justice and all these good things that we want to see in the world, we need to anchor in a higher level of love, of unconditional love on the planet. And we're all responsible for that in our own unique way. And the way that we contribute to that, to making a better world individually and collectively, is by being willing to anchor in the frequency, the energy, the consciousness of unconditional love. But in order to do that, we have to relearn that. We have to relearn that that's who we are, and take the action steps to become that again, to embody that again, and to be able to do, or be willing to do the healing to remember that this is who we are, so that we can be that consciousness, that energy, that beingness in the world, and inspire others and hold that frequency and support the collective in so many ways. But we all have a role, we have to play. We all have to take certain action steps. So I guess this is a message that I was meant to bring forward, is that you have to truly be the change you wish to see in the world. If you want there to be more good in the world, you have to hold more goodness inside of you. You have to emanate that and radiate that more. And you do that through walking the path to becoming that, remembering that that's who you really are, and living as that to the best of your ability. You don't have to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. It's part of being human. And there's so much beauty in the mistakes and in the challenges, the struggles, or heartbreaks, or whatever it is. But it's part of like what needs to be done for you to be more of this unconditionally loving being that you really are. From my personal experience, I would not be as loving and as empathetic as I am today and understanding if it hadn't been for all my healing work. Because back in the day when I was still full of ego and I was still full of pain and trauma and all that stuff, and that's not to say I don't have things to work through, because there's always things to work through. But back in the day, there was a lot more to work through. And back in those days, I was not a nice person. I was very antisocial and I hated people, as you may have known from my other videos. Very much a loner, couldn't be bothered with people, and I judged people so strongly and so harshly, especially people that I felt were doing things wrong or they were being hurtful or harmful, and I was like, this is not right, they're bad people, and now, because of just all this deeper healing work that I've done in my relationship with myself and in the people that have hurt me and stuff, like, I'm able to be so much more unconditionally loving towards myself and towards others, and I'm not the super judgmental and angry and bitter or resentful person I used to be or whatever. But that's because healing work helped me. Healing work helped me so much. And personally, like, things like affirmations or meditation, it did help me to a certain extent. Change a bit how I showed up and to have more patience for other people, and all this other stuff. Like, in the past, I used to have a short fuse because I just had a lot of anger, inside of me, because I grew up in a very abusive household and my boundaries were crossed so much, and there's just so many things that I felt were wrong with the way I was raised, and I wasn't able to always express that. So I had a lot of anger inside of me. And so through the help of like affirmations or meditation or whatever, when I would go about my life and my day and interact with people, and they were pissing me off because they were doing something that I thought was wrong, and like there was this anger inside of me being triggered, like I want to go off on them and let them know because they're wrong for this or whatever, and I wanted to really put people in their place and all this other stuff. But then like the affirmations or the meditation would be like, okay, come on now, peace, I'm peace, I'm love, I'm this, I'm that, and da-da-da. And, meditation helped me to be a little bit more like chill, mellow, relaxed more. So I wasn't as triggered as much. Yes, I wasn't as responsive or whatever, or I didn't react as much. But that doesn't mean that I was being unconditional love at all. Like, I know the difference. When you've gone through things, you can see the difference. And that's not to downplay these kinds of tools like affirmations or meditation. They have so much value and they have their place. But that didn't really help me personally to really be a being of unconditional love for myself. It was only when I did this really deep healing work and I was able to get to the root cause of my anger and my judgment and resolving all these things from my childhood and just all this stuff, that I was able to truly see things from a higher perspective and just have more compassion and empathy for other people and truly embody more of this consciousness and this energy. And that doesn't mean that I still don't get pissed off from time to time. I still do sometimes, okay? There's still things that I'm like, oh, these people. But then I do my best to look into it and be like, okay, what's going on? Why am I pissed off at them? Why am I judging them? What's going on here? And then I look into it to do my best to keep coming back to unconditional love again and to really be this. And people pissing me off from time to time is part of the process of me relearning to come back to unconditional love and to be this. Like, that serves a purpose too, So these are my thoughts on this. Is whatever you got out of this, I hope it helped you in some kind of way. But yeah, we have to relearn what it really means to be a being of unconditional love. And there's so many nuances to that. And I could probably talk about this for like a bunch of hours probably and answer a bunch of questions on this, because people sometimes think that being a being of unconditional love means you let people walk all over you because you're constantly forgiving them and accepting them, and it's like, no, that's not what it means either. It doesn't mean that you're someone's doormat just because you have loving compassion for them and empathy. No, there's deeper things there with that I could talk on. But this video is already really long, so we're going to cut this short now. So yeah, these are my thoughts. I really hope that this has helped you. I really encourage you to be the change that you wish to see in the world, to do your best to walk the path of remembering that you are truly a being of unconditional love, and doing the practices, the rituals, using the tools, and doing the deeper healing work that will help you to really embody that, so that you can serve as a powerful example and beacon of light for other people, because we all play a powerful role and we're all so important. We're also important to the ascension process and to making impacts in our individual families, in our individual communities, and in the world. Like, you are so much more important to this whole process than maybe you can even understand. And your willingness to make whatever necessary shifts or do whatever healing you need to do to become more of the unconditionally loving being that you really are is so helpful, is so important, is so needed. So I really hope that this has encouraged you in some way to take your existence, I don't want to say more seriously, but to really notice the impact that you have. You're not here by any coincidence. You're not watching this video, receiving this message by pure chance. I'm pretty sure that Spirit is asking you to come back to unconditional love, because that's what you deserve. You deserve to really be that version of yourself and to experience what life is like when you are being this higher version of yourself. And people deserve that experience of you as you be this version of yourself. And when you really embody more of this unconditional love that you are, and you radiate that to others, life becomes more amazing for you too, as a result of this love, this greater loving energy that you shine. And you deserve to see what that's like as well. There's an ambulance going off in the background. It's a message, important message. So I've been on this journey lately, as you may have noticed. I do my best to lead with love, to become the most loving leader I can be, to, in a way, walk in Jesus's path or footsteps. I don't even know a whole lot about Jesus, but from what I kind of know, I'm like, yeah, like I want to be unconditionally loving, and I do my best to constantly realign and learn what that really means and what that looks like, and to keep adjusting as necessary to be more of this unconditionally loving being that I really am, and like Jesus embodied for us and showed us, you know. So we're all on this journey individually and figuring it out, you know. So anyway, I really hope that this has helped you. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your time. I hope you got value out of this. And I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Again, if you have not yet taken my healing workshop, or you haven't seen that spiritual ego video, you can go check out those videos here in the card section. And also, I have some surprises planned for you next week. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur or are thinking of it, or you're some kind of entrepreneur and you want to know how business is going to be conducted differently in the new age, then I have some surprises for you next week that I hope you will enjoy as well. So I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.